Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Rebel Inc. Escalation official scenarios. We should be moving on to the Desolate Fields, but after many hours of trying this scenario, I can conclude that it is absolute BS. This scenario is really rough. I'm going to need a bit more time trying to put together some sort of a strategy, but the thing is, even the best strategy is going to take a lot of luck in this scenario. Not a big fan. So let's move on to Defense Grid. The insurgents are using advanced cell tactics and splintering whenever defeated in combat. Use of AI sentry turrets has been authorized. Equipped with threat sensors, they can pin insurgents down and inflict heavy casualties over time. Use high-tech automated defenses to fight a tenacious insurgency. Basically, imagine the engineer from Team Fortress 2 came into play, and he just starts laying down turrets everywhere, and you're not that far off. You can play on any map you want. I'm already kind of sick of getting beaten repeatedly from the last scenario, so I'm just going to go ahead and play on the Saffron Fields, though it doesn't matter all that much what you go for. I do still think we want to go for the standard Doctor, Tribal Elder, Celebrity. We could go for Realist, but I honestly think Tax Collector is probably fine here. The Chef could work, and I don't know if we need the Sensor exactly, so I guess I would rather use, in this case, the Pilot, believe it or not, or maybe Tactician to increase the chance of Rebels taking casualties when they flee, which should be happening fairly often. We're going to be calling this one Rouge Vulture, which is a very pleasant image. All right. So, ideally, the insurgents are going to spawn in these mountains and stay in these mountains and go nowhere else. We're going to be placing down our HQ over here because it allows us to get some defense in all of these areas in which we wanted to keep them nice and contained. So that's what we're going for. If the camps are spawning anywhere else, well, maybe you need to go ahead and do a quick restart. Let's go for our standard lineup of some education initiatives plus the effective procurement and so on. Spend a lot of that money and then start letting some of that inflation start to tick down. Now, once we get our first coalition soldier, you're going to see that we're going to have the special ability of the turrets. And it's not all that different from the way that you would work with, let's say, the helicopter flying Fury scenario, except the turrets are not mobile. That's kind of the main difference, at least in my opinion. Let's go ahead and spend a little bit more money. Again, we're just going to wait for some of that inflation to tick down because I don't feel like wasting just about anything. And we do, of course, need to be stabilizing at least 1 or 2 zones nice and quickly. It really depends on what people are going to be asking for. We already see some requests for healthcare, water, roads, pretty much everything. Yeah, that's going to be good. We can at least get healthcare and water going. That's cheap. That's easy. All right, military initiatives are authorized. Let's go ahead and start saving up some money. Let's see where they're going to spawn. If they don't spawn where I want them to, well, then we're just going to have to do a quick restart and make sure they stay in the mountains. That's just kind of the way that Saffron Fields works in general in this scenario. We'll go ahead and get 2 coalition soldiers because that's ultimately what we are going to need. Okay, that's a good sign so far. Let's go ahead and move you guys up into position to try and hold these areas right along here, preferably. Though I will say, with pretty bad roads, it's not necessarily the most defensible location. There's something to be said about maybe moving the HQ over here and then just holding on to these 2 as tight as you can, and then this is situational, but oh well. Even with dirt roads being what they are, right over here looks pretty reasonable enough to me, and so far everything's looking kind of good. There is a camp right here, which I don't really see any reason not to just go ahead and get rid of, so we will. I don't need to get the AI sentry turrets yet, but soon we will want that. Let's go ahead and get the PR and media office. What else are people asking for? Regular roads. Fun fact, I'm kind of okay with that. Regular roads would not be a bad thing for me to have right about now. This HQ positioning is a little on the aggressive side, I know, but I mean, in my opinion, you gotta take a little bit of a risk here and there if you want to have a good chance at winning this. That camp going away is going to be nice. We should get at least 1 level of anti-corruption going. Gosh, already this is so different from the Desolate Fields. Let's go ahead and move down here because we know this is where they're going to be trying to attack next. Now again, remember that we have a special effect here. It's called Split and Run. In fact, this is in the Desolate Field scenario as well, and it's the reason the scenario is absolute garbage. When defeated in combat, insurgents can flee into multiple zones, which means it's very difficult to control exactly where these guys are going to run. And this is where getting the AI sentry turret becomes helpful, because what it can do is pin down the insurgents and then just start inflicting casualties on them. But if it gets destroyed, well, then you're kind of sunk. Also, it does not last forever. I'll go ahead and pick this thing up in case these guys make a run down over here, and I don't want them running anywhere else. Notice we are moving fairly slowly right now, which is a little bit distressing. All the more reason to try and get something like the extra roads. But this is the turret. It's right down over here. This little, again, Team Fortress 2 style sentry turret located right yonder. And we're going to go ahead and place it right up here to try and pin these guys down and kill them as they walk into the zone. If they destroy this, we're going to be in a pretty bad spot, but notice that there's outright killing a bunch. Very, very nice. We like what we are seeing with that. I'm going to go ahead and move you back like so. And then if we get attacked up over here, we could go ahead and use these guys to protect the turret, but so far, honestly, everything's looking kind of okay. We just need to focus on trying to make people happy. We could go for some interstates. That could be nice, but instead I'm going to go for 2 levels of telecoms because I'm feeling aggressive like that. I'm okay with them having this zone. It's not great, but it's not a big deal. I don't want the game to think, hey, we don't have enough zones. Let's start spawning camps all over the map. They probably got at least one more camp over here. That's usually how that would work. We'll see, though. Now, here's something interesting. So the turret is about to get destroyed. We could pick up something called Explosive Core, which kills all insurgents on the zone on self-destruction. And now what's going to happen is by placing down this turret in a zone where we are actively losing them, instead of letting them run all over the place, the turret just becomes a kamikaze solution. It's going to blow up now, and then lo and behold, it just killed them all. Yay! And this is why we like the turret. We could also reduce the cooldown, which I think is necessary, and allowing them to remain active for longer is nice, but cooldown is, in my opinion, going to be a bit more important. We're going to have some trouble over here. Most likely, I might need to place down the turret right over here, depending on where these guys flee. Never mind, they all flee in the direction that I would want. Let's place the turret back up over here, and it'll kill this guy as he runs into that area. Let's get strategic communications, and then probably focus on more anti-corruption efforts before things get a lot worse. The goal is to basically be able to survive with only 2 coalition soldiers for as long as is feasible, because you don't want to have to pay that extra reputation cost for having lots of soldiers. Although, of course, at some point, we are certainly going to need to make use of national soldiers because these guys aren't going to be sticking around forever. How's everyone doing? For the most part, actually, most needs are being met. We should have a stable zone or 2 soon. The fact that I still have some instability is a problem. We can click on the zone itself, by the way, and you can see what the local concerns are going to be. Sometimes it shows up in this menu before it shows up on this map. This is when it becomes like a substantial need, as opposed to sometimes it just gives you a bit of a clue. In this case, though, looks like we're fine in most of these local areas, so we should just focus on some basic alternatives. Let's go ahead and start getting some national soldiers. The national soldiers won't be strong exactly, but what they'll be good at is at least preventing these guys from retreating in directions that I don't want. Now, there goes my turret again, but I don't really care that much. I am worried about this guy retreating in a direction I didn't want. He did not. Okay, we'll place the turret back down over here for now. That's a stable zone, which is at least going to reduce some of the impact. We're about to get some more. At least I hope we're about to get some more. Let's get some more anti-corruption so that this doesn't continue to be a big problem for me. These guys are all splitting and going in directions I don't much like, but as long as they don't go down here, I don't really care what they do. So far, this is completely manageable and fine. Let's get the interstates, because that is something that people have requested. Some dirt roads would not be a bad thing to get as well. These guys are still retreating in directions I'm okay with. We will do at least 1 long extension for each of these, though ideally by then we can go ahead and move on to something else. This lack of stability is mostly under control again. Could become a problem pretty quickly, though, so we really need to get at least 1 more zone to stabilize nice and quick. Notice by getting the cooldown reduction, we basically can keep this turret up at all times unless it's getting actively attacked, which is pretty darn nice if you were to ask me. I'm gonna get some dirt roads going, and then we might go for corruption level 4, and then after that, pretty much nothing but military solutions for, I'm thinking, basically the rest of the game. At least another stable zone, good. Having 2 of them is kind of what we're looking for. That's going to eliminate a lot of the lack of stability issues for a while. And I do love that the turret just kills them as they come through. It doesn't just pin them down. So by all means, waste some of your strength over here. See if I care. And by having this national soldier here, guess what? These guys can't retreat this direction anymore. So we're going to be looking just fine and dandy. Let's get corruption level 4, and now we're starting to stabilize a lot of the map. And by not being overly aggressive, and by the way, we can actually move this guy over here now that I think about it, because this HQ prevents these guys from retreating this way anyway. What was I saying? Oh, right. By not being overly aggressive and allowing them to have a camp constantly training, I'm pretty sure we have successfully tricked the game into not spawning more camps in areas I don't like. Usually, if there are no camps over here, it's not unusual for you to say, a random camp's gonna spawn somewhere. I sure as heck hope I have the intelligence to find it quickly. And maybe you do. Maybe you don't. You don't know what's gonna be. Alright, so far we're mostly doing fine. One more long extension should do it. We have enough reputation floating just from stabilizing zones that I don't think I have a whole lot more to worry about. Let's go ahead and train up some more national soldiers. We could get CareBot. And what this does is start actually increasing support level in any zone you place down a turret, which basically means if I'm not actively using a turret, the CareBot kind of is like a way of stabilizing zones, which is hilarious. So we're going to go ahead and place you down over here, for example, in the city. And is this turret going to do, you know, anything as far as, like, protecting the area? Probably not. Hopefully not. But it is just going to give me free stability, so I'll take it. Let's go ahead and threaten these guys, get a little bit of extra reputation farmed out. So far, everything's looking fine. You might think that I want to attack over here, but the answer is no, I don't really want to do that. I don't think that's going to go terribly well for me. Could allow for these guys to last longer. Don't think I will. Let's instead go for some interpreters and then probably things like airstrikes so we have a few extra combat boosts, just to make our victories even more resounding. But yeah, we're stabilizing pretty aggressively over here. Now, what else is people asking for? Nothing at the moment, which is just peachy. Let's move down to the HQ then. And we are going to go for full reform of women, of course, because that is the only way to do things. Now, this is where I get concerned, because if they run over this direction, we would have found ourselves in a pretty bad spot. But so far, everything's fine. I'm going to go ahead and place down the turret over here now, and let them just start gradually picking these guys off. Then place these guys back over here and just try to keep them contained. They may destroy this, but if they do, they all die. So by all means, waste all your strength on me. See how much I care. Local police recruitment can help in case something goes wrong in the future. Let's go ahead and get some airstrikes going. We'll start bombing some folks. I'm getting more national soldiers trained up. This is all going basically exactly according to plan. We could also roll out some civil assistance, which would help us stabilize a couple of these zones a little bit faster. I am tempted to do that, but I don't think we need to, at least yet. Here comes another national soldier, which means we'll be protected even if they do head down to this HQ. They could still retreat over here. That's my concern, which it looks like is exactly what he's trying to do. Oh, darn it. All right, so this is where we start having problems. This is where things start to get very annoying, because the split and run tactic means that they'll start going in all manner of different directions like chickens with their head cut off. We need to go ahead and place someone over here to make sure these guys can't retreat back in the direction of the city. Then move you here, then move you here. That way they have nowhere for them to retreat, and now we'll be able to start retaking that zone. You see how it works. Now imagine something kind of like this, but with desolate fields, the other scenario that I've had to skip today, and honestly don't ever want to go back to. Imagine that, but the insurgents already control about half of the map. They can also cross rivers, and there's tunnels, so that even when you try to surround and stamp them out, they just keep popping up. And they split and run even if you do win that fight on the tunnel. It's terrible. It really is just the least fun scenario that I've come across so far. Is it as bad as the mega insurgency? No, but is it good? Absolutely not. We could do another long extension, believe it or not, but I think instead we're gonna go ahead and let this guy go home. Simply get myself another coalition soldier, though it looks like, by the way, you can only ever have 3, so just be aware that that is going to be a thing. And now here's the trick. Let's see where these guys end up retreating. I'm hoping they all retreat in a direction I want. In fact, they should do so. I'm going to go ahead and just place the turret right here. Why not? If it blows up, who cares? They're not going anywhere I don't care about, and we'll just get a whole load of free casualties off on that. How are we looking down over here? One zone left over here. Almost done. Should not take me that much longer. Let's get that local police expansion. We're going to threaten them one more time to just farm out a tiny bit more reputation. Yeah, this scenario, as far as they go, this one is what I would consider fairly easy. Just fairly easy. It's not that bad. Not that bad at all. There are areas where it can get out of control, and it really comes down... Ooh, we're going to go ahead and increase pay. It could get out of control pretty quickly. Okay, this is like one of those scenarios where it can start getting out of control pretty quickly. If these guys retreated down here, would we get all those casualties I wanted? No. But now, instead, we just kill them. There we go. So yeah, just be aware, anytime you attack, even here where you should win, there's a chance that these guys retreat off in this direction, and if they do, you want to have enough troops ready to go to quickly surround and force them back where they belong. Get them back in their respective cages. Let's get some longer lasting turrets. Might as well go ahead and ramp that up. These guys are not going to retreat where I wanted them to. If you move fast enough, you can try to control that retreat direction, but in this case, did that work? Nope. Fortunately, by having the security boosters, we're honestly not going to have that much trouble anyway. Should be fine. These guys retreat where I wanted them to. Move you forward, move you forward. There we go. Back under control. Let's go ahead and start boosting up some strength for my soldiers, national soldiers, since we are going to be heavily relying on them in the near future, since I'm probably not going to be keeping my coalition soldiers much longer. Let's go ahead and start antagonizing the insurgents, and I am going to go ahead and move forward a bit further. And by placing troops in all these locations, even when I win this fight, I know they're going to go up somewhere in the mountains, which should be fine. Now we can start applying a bit more pressure. That said, guess who came back down over here? Where are you going to go? Nowhere, fortunately, because we got casualties. Let's pay ransom on the journalist. It does gain me some reputation as a result. This guy wants to go home, and to be honest, we're probably going to let him. Let's antagonize one more time here. I'm going to go ahead and send you home and send in some national soldiers instead. Some travel logistics could certainly be nice. Let's get some drones, find some intelligence. This guy's sneaking away, so I'm going to go ahead and just shoot him with the turret. It's a pretty simple solution. It's elegant in its simplicity. Just shoot him with the turret. I mean, I'm an engineer in real life, let alone an engineer main in TF2. That's a total lie, by the way. I barely play TF2 anymore, but I'm an engineer, which means I'm a problem solver, and use a bigger gun when in doubt. That's basically how this is supposed to work, am I right? We're sitting on plenty of cash at this point. Really not a lot to worry about. Let's just go for better airstrikes, less likely to get civilian casualties, get these guys in position. And oh no, these guys are all coming down here. They might run by and get shot by the turret. Yep. Turrets are great. We like turrets. Turrets are our friends. Let's go ahead and start moving up into these mountains, start pushing forward. Never mind, guess what? It looks like they spawned a new camp. All right, so the game has officially decided that they were getting tired of being trapped. That's annoying. We're gonna have to, of course, find these guys and preferably kill them up pretty soon. Alternatively, we say, screw it, place down another turret. Because we can apparently have 2 turrets at once now. Well, yeah, this guy will just take them all out. Cool, the question is, do they have a camp somewhere that I'm not aware of? That's the question, because if they do, that becomes irritating. Let's go ahead and get some better drones, might as well. I'm sitting on lots of cash, we like lots of combat strength, and all those insurgents are dead. Thank you, turret! I call him Handy the Turret. He's great. He's a very nice turret. Some people also call him Sam. I don't know why. Let's see, what else should we do? Let's go for a bit of a corruption reduction. We are going to want to pull you guys over here and just kill this guy since he retreated in a direction I don't like. Again, it's these little things. It's the little guys who are constantly sneaking away and causing problems that make these scenarios, anything involving split and run, really irritating. Now, there is another modifier I haven't even looked at. It's social distancing. Smaller groups of insurgents run to neighboring regions whenever they're hit by airstrikes. Simply by making use of the airstrikes, we're actually kind of like forcing the insurgents to constantly displace. Could actually kind of work in my favor in a few cases. Could also get really annoying sometimes. I don't know. But so far, I got nothing to worry about. I'm sitting on $69 right now, which I would consider to be pretty nice at the end of the day. Let's go ahead and just roll out a handful more initiatives. Amazingly, no one asked for jobs this time around. I'm not too sure why, but I'm not upset about it. Not upset about it at all. Let's go ahead and move the coalition soldiers here and place down a turret, so even if they do run out of here, guess what? Nothing good happens for you. Reject the deal. All right, we're above 100 reputation all of a sudden. You probably saw me get down into the 30s and you thought, Pravus, you fool, you've doomed yourself. Nope. All is well. I know what I'm doing with this scenario. This scenario, I understand. Even though split and run is annoying, I understand how to work with it. What I don't know how to do is handle split and run and deal with tunnels at the same time. That is an unfortunate mystery to me. We're gonna go ahead and move you up over here. Guess I might as well. We're gonna prioritize some more elections. Move you over here, I guess. And more cover-up should be fine. Now we just have to start gradually pushing forward and try to actually push these guys out without giving them anywhere to run. And placing your turret carefully is going to end up being very important over here. More subtle pressure should be nice. Let's go for better targeted stuff. Let's just make us have better intelligence gathering so we have no issues. How about some remote outreach? So we can try to reduce the hostile population. That's usually nice. Once these guys are dealt with, we can run forward with our last soldier here, and these guys will have nowhere to split and run, which means we should be able to simply finish them off here. That said, that changes the second you see them run out like this. Now they could run and off in this direction. I need to relocate some troops immediately right over here. Darn it, they still managed to technically cross the borders just in time. God, I just don't like split and run. It's a very, very annoying situation. Let's place down a turret over there. Okay, I'm gonna place down a turret over there. So he's gonna run forward, but he's gonna die. Now, before these guys have a chance to launch another attack, darn it all the freaking heck, he didn't actually cross the borders. Hang on. Hang on. God, I hate split and run. It is the least fun mechanic in this game by a long shot to me. It is the least fun mechanic in this game. It just makes your good play kind of irrelevant. It's so hard to work around. All right, now they're pinned, so they're not going to launch new attacks, which means they all die, which means we are going to donate to charity, and then we're going to go ahead and accept the peace deal the second it pops up, which is right now, and there aren't any left, which means we lose no reputation, which means I get 109 and we win. Not bad, not bad. This scenario's fine. You just need them in the mountains. Don't get overly aggressive. Keep them contained. Don't give them areas to retreat. Use the turret wisely wherever you think you have a gap, and you'll end up being fine. All right, I'm going to take a bit of a break here. I need to figure out a strategy for Desolate Fields, and ideally also the Ultra Mega Insurgency. These are the only two left. If I can figure them out, I'll upload soon. If not, just understand that it means I'm going through hell. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.